Antonio, it was Thomas Walkup with the first SFA triple-double in over 4 decades. He also had 5 steals that night. Of course, gone are names like Parker and Walkup. It is a new-look SFA squad this year, from coaching staff all the way through the roster, with a rare exception in that young man, T.J. Holyfield, a name you've grown to know in the Southland Conference. His brother Michael at Sam Houston State was the great defender, near 7 feet tall, former Defensive Player of the Year a few years back. TJ now a sophomore, but already one of the better shooters in the league.
Well, and he's so versatile. He can pop out, as we saw in that first possession for SFA. Good job of getting back in transition that time by the Lumberjack defense. UIW, as expected, starting in a half-court man-to-man defense.
So Cameron and Holyfield are your only starters who were on this team a year ago.
Now, you'll see Ty Charles before long. He was an outstanding starter last year. He's been hurt.
Dallas Cameron serves as your point guard.
Young man with the ball, Ivan Canet, their leading scorer, was a junior college star down in Florida last year.
Well, Canet the other night, Thursday, down in Corpus Christi, had a big steal and took it the other way for a late bucket to preserve a lead for SFA, a tight one. But they sweep A&M Corpus Christi this year for 2 crucial victories. And it also proved to be SFA's first road win in conference this season.
Well, how about that second basket of the game on last possession by SFA? That was a beautiful drive to the bucket by Leon Gilmore.
As the sophomore Tyler Singleton, a former state champion out of Dallas at AAA Academy.
A great defensive help that time by Leon Gilmore. Came over and cut the baseline off. Going to have a chance now. Looking at Gilmore making the good defensive play. Let's take a look at him making the great offensive move on the last possession for the Lumberjacks. Terrific speed and quickness used by Gilmore right there.
Gilmore was added to this team with a bit of Division I experience. Only played a few games for Creighton, but Kyle Keller needed to find that D1 experience anywhere he could to work into this mix. Into Holyfield down low.
Well, great hands by Holyfield in traffic that time.
Straight away on the money out of the right hand of Dallas Cameron, the senior.
That's the only senior on this SFA team. I talk about a bright future. I'm talking about this ball club you're looking at tonight. They are going to be good.
There has yet to be a day of practice this season that head coach has had his full roster available to him.
Well,
get ready for a ball game.
It's a good look at Kyle Keller, the new head coach for SFA. Came from the assistant staff at Texas A&M under Billy Kennedy. Had been the assistant under Eddie Sutton for a long time up at Oklahoma State. Head coach at Tyler Junior College. A lot of success for Kyle Keller.
Yeah, an alumnus of Oklahoma State, of course, the destination of Brad Underwood this past offseason.
What a nice drive by Jalen Hart right there. Point guard, super quick. It's 2 very athletic teams going tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun. As my old buddy right there, Ken Burmeister, I've been knowing him for a long time. He's coached all over the state. He was Lute Olson's longtime assistant at Iowa and the University of Arizona when those Final Four days.
In San Antonio alone, he's been head coach of Trinity, UTSA, and UIW.
Well, he's never met a stranger. He's a great recruiter, and he's been a good friend. I've enjoyed getting to know him. Got a taste of his infectious enthusiasm before tonight's game.
You're going to hear the name Burmeister, but it's not always going to be Ken. His son Sam is number 15, guarding on the perimeter at the top of your screen. With 6 to shoot. Shot won't fall for Charles.
Great defensive blockouts by all the guys in the purple shirts right there. No chance for the Cardinals on that offensive rebound.
Well, Holyfield has a different game than his brother certainly did.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I don't think Kyle Keller wants him taking that shot that quick out at the head of the circle. He'd like to get in there and get to the free throw line.
Burmeister takes it to the window.
Well, what a competitor that young man is. He redshirted last year to get bigger and stronger.
UIW has a little 5-0 run after a 7-0 start by SFA.
What a great kick out, and then Burmeister, seeing the crack still there, and the purple-shirted SFA defense just takes it right at him. Great concentration because he got bumped on the finish.
Well, the few returners that SFA has from last year, for the most part, aren't even playing the same position, and that includes Dallas Cameron, now a point guard.
Oh, what a beautiful spot up that time by Josh Huntley. Flashed up there to the free throw line. Scouting report for UIW must say back off of him on the perimeter, but he sure drilled that one.
He's just averaging 10 minutes a ball game for Kyle Keller. Able to match his season average with those 2 points already.
And you can see this SFA defense. They're one pass away in the passing lane.
Singleton shot long. As the rebound came down to Huntley, the Florida native. 15-footer. Won't go. Singleton will bring it up.
Oh, good backdoor cut by Burmeister. Niles Banks just missed him on that cut to the bucket.
And reaching foul. Will be called on Josh Huntley. Foul on SFA. Ball will be with UIW, and we come back trailing early by 4 to the visiting Lumberjacks of SFA.
The Southland Conference.
4,200.
The Southland Conference.
4,200 student athletes
from across the country
and around the world, representing 13 member institutions
from Arkansas,
Texas, and Louisiana,
excelling in 17 NCAA Division I sports,
in the classroom, and in our communities.
We are Southland Strong.
At UIW, your classmates are also your neighbors. With 10 locations across San Antonio, UIW has a presence in every corner of our community. You'll know the feeling of a big city with a small town feel, a place where first-generation college students find support and encouragement. Whether you've grown up here or you've adopted San Antonio as your own, you'll know the city is behind you. At UIW, you will know your neighbors.
Lumberjacks make great teachers. Lumberjacks make great engineers, too. And urban foresters, composers, and CEOs. In fact, Lumberjacks make great professionals in 120 fields of study. So no matter what you want to become an SFA Lumberjack first.
A couple of early turnovers has UIW down by 4. 5 points alone for SFA can be credited to miscues for the home squad Cardinals. We are here early on in Southland Conference action. Stephen F. Austin, UIW, inside the McDermott Center here on the campus of the University of the Incarnate Word.
You can see Stephen F. Austin continuing to play in this half-court pressure defense.
Defense holding its ground, but too far underneath. Inside the restricted arc.
Both teams starting out with a lot of intensity here tonight, both in half-court man-to-man defense. UIW, they'll mix their defenses. They've played a lot of zone this year. Sure we'll see some of that tonight, but Coach Burmeister wanting to get as aggressive a game against SFA as he possibly can.
You saw Jovan Grujic has come in to play the post. That's a 7-footer out of Serbia for the Lumberjacks. Right now up at the top of the perimeter.
You mentioned Grujic. He started the last SFA game I had out in Abilene, coming off the bench here tonight.
Kyle Keller was convinced that you would struggle to recognize tonight's SFA team from that team that played their early contest in Abilene.
Well, they had a a lot of unnecessary fouls early in that game and turnovers. Since then, they've won 3 in a row, and the big deal for SFA is they won their first road game of the year against A&M Corpus Christi Thursday night. Psychologically, that's got to be big.
Bruich got it over 3 Cardinals, but that shot would not fall. You'll see Dallas Cameron with the Band-Aid above his right eye. He was bloodied in that matchup against the Islanders on Thursday night. It was a slow start for SFA. They were scoreless for almost the first 6 minutes. They've struggled this year on the road to be the first team to score. A lot of slow starts.
But good team defense right there.
UIW never giving up on it as Singleton poked that one loose. Burmeister for 3. Come down to Cameron.
Oh, that young man's a pure shooter. It's a surprise anytime he misses when he's that open.
Dallas Cameron these last 2 weeks has exceeded really the ceiling of what Kyle Keller had put on him in terms of expectations. He's been fantastic for his new head coach. Singleton forces the issue and he'll be rewarded with free throws.
Good job by Ivan Singleton getting the ball up the floor quickly in transition. Youngster's just a sophomore out of Dallas, played at AAA Academy.
And they're going to say foul is on the floor. So no free throws for Singleton. You talk about AAA Academy, the charter school up in Dallas that had quick success.
Oh, good job right there. Nice kiss off the glass by Burmeister. Good recognition of that no help coming on the SFA defense.
Bruich forgoes the 3.
With the ball is a 44% three-point shooter, but you can see UIW playing him tightly.
And again, they'll say on the floor.
Well, that's a player you do not want to see grabbing his ankle. Dallas Cameron, the leader of this SFA team, well on his way to being a record holder for most games played on a championship team in SFA history.
Well, he played off the ball with Thomas Walkup in company last year, but when Kyle Keller decided to make him a point guard, he did it with the advice of a man by the name of Brad Underwood, saying that man has to be the one who gets your offense going.
UIW staying man-to-man. Well, they're in the zone now. They're in a zone for the first time. SFA recognizing that 3-second call.
Bruich in the lane for 3 seconds as they'll turn it over.
This UIW team, as they throw it in, they have had a horrendous schedule. At Texas, at Rice, at UNLV, at Loyola Marymount, at Memphis. That is tough in anybody's books.
Kyle Keller obviously inherited most of that schedule. Some of those games, though, including the Texas contest, they had some opportunities to do some good things, but they opened their season at #2 Kentucky.
Well, that's the SFA. I was talking about UIW a while ago. They opened against Texas in Austin. In fact, almost beat Texas down with minutes to go in that game.
Yeah, Kent Burmeister, these first 4 years in Division I, as we see the ups from Devin Wyatt, the junior out of the Dallas area, DeSoto High School. But
yeah, he transferred in from New Mexico Junior College. Very highly thought of player.
Kent Burmeister has taken the approach, if we're not eligible to play in the NCAA tournament, I will schedule one essentially in the non-conference.
Well, he overdid it this year.
Well, but they've had marquee wins against Princeton, Nebraska in recent years. This year they came up short.
Yeah, they lost in overtime at Loyola Marymount out in L.A. Of course, as we said, played Texas very tough before losing by 5. Went into overtime out there in Los Angeles.
And one more free throw to go for Kevon Harris.
Well, I remember a couple of years ago when this UIW team had a youngster by the name of Denzel Livingston playing for him. What a great player he was. He's now starring over in Israel. Coach, I asked Coach Burmeister how Livingston was doing. He said he's the Michael Jordan of Israel. That's about as big a compliment as you can give somebody.
Simi Sock struggling with the double team. They'll say last touch by Burmeister, and it goes over to SFA.
Both these ball clubs making a lot of in-game adjustments here in the early going in the first half.
It's a Stephen F. Austin team that does not have a scorer in the top 25 in conference play.
They're the only Southland Conference team that does not have a player in the top 25. Cadet is number 26, averaging 11 points per game.
Conversely, you mentioned the Cardinals have 3 of them.
Yep, 3 in the top 11.
Well, the arc won't go. It's going to stay with Stephen F. Austin. When we come back, their lead at 2. But some explosive moments early on for UIW. Cleared for takeoff, flight number 5, Devin Wyatt.
Congratulations on some sweet UIW prizes.
Well, we talk about the Lumberjacks in recent years, all these trips to the NCAA tournament, and essentially just the extra minutes some of the younger players get during runs like that and the maturity process. As you look at the series, 5 meetings all time. The first 5 have gone to SFA, including the last time they met here in San Antonio. We talked about that Thomas Walkup triple-double. Throw in 5 steals as well. But Kyle Keller did not inherit necessarily a full cabinet or a full cupboard, as technically in one of the stats that somebody smarter than I am keeps track of, out of over 350 Division I basketball teams, they were number 333 in terms of experience with players playing with one another.
Wow, hadn't seen that stat, but that's very significant. Of course, we know they've got 8 new players on the team that see action, and whole new coaching staff. And I mentioned earlier those key injuries, especially affecting Ty Charles, who was a honorable mention All-Southland Conference performer last year.
Kyle Keller's credit, he took the job because of the challenge of trying to live up to Danny Casper as well as Brad Underwood and what they've created in terms of expectations over there in Nacogdoches. Of course, Danny Casper had some history here at UIW as well, preceding Ken Burmeister. Ken Burmeister's been a great constant for this program.
Well, he's got so much energy, Lincoln, and he knows everybody. He's been around so long. He's a great ambassador for the city of San Antonio, having worked at 3 different colleges here.
In fact, he has his degree from another university, St. Mary's, the longtime rival of UIW. Let's bring the ball up the floor again. It's Ivan Canet, one of the new
leading scorer for the Lumberjacks. Very good player. Has a great feel for the game.
He is plugged right into this program nicely. Holyfield on right. throw it away.
Well, that was terrific defense inside by Devin Wyatt. Moved his feet. Very good discipline. Didn't reach.
Jalen Hart defended by Aaron Augustin.
Well, late whistle there. Called the foul on Aaron Augustin. A little overly aggressive. You know, I don't think the striped shirt was going to call that foul until Hart actually kind of tripped. It was a late whistle.
Augustin, a freshman, averaging about 15 minutes per contest out of Suwanee, Georgia. And free throws here for Jalen Hart, shooting 63%. Jalen, junior college transfer, as you noted earlier, out of New Mexico Junior College, originally from Houston's North Shore High School.
Boy, that school's turned out some really good players in recent years. Jonathan Motley, the star for Baylor, who had 32 points and 20 rebounds the other night against Texas. Kerwin Roach for Texas played at Galena Park, North Shore. A lot of good players in recent years out of that program.
Johnson, one of a couple of New Orleans natives on this roster, will lose the ball over to Gilmore. Gilmore goes right at Sean Johnson, and they'll be rewarded with the whistle.
Well, you're going to see Leon Gilmore now get this ball in full court transition. He just lowers his head and takes it all the way in, more or less forcing the foul on the UIW defense.
Johnson's a Houston boy in his own right, out of A-Leaf Hastings. Originally called New Orleans home. Obviously, Katrina sent a lot of young men and women packing over towards the Houston area. As Ken Burmeister has a player down on the opposite end of the court as he huddles up the players he does have available to him right now. And it appears to be Jalen Hart. It is, in fact, the junior.
Well, he's a tough kid. Coaching staff for UIW very complimentary of his attitude.
Jalen will take a look at how this likely happened.
Yeah, you can see up there at the top left of your corner, he just got caught up and kind of spun around there.
Good to see him on his feet. He's one of the players for Ken Burmeister that he wanted to point out. This young man continues to improve each day, in particular with his defense here in Division I, getting used to the adjustment from junior college.
Well, there is indeed adjustments to make, from just like from high school to junior college to college, college to the pros. Every level, the game gets a little bit faster and a little bit more physical.
Gilmore is 65% free throw shooter.
Southpaw has a nice touch on his release.
And yet another first-year Lumberjack, averaging just shy of 10 points, 6 rebounds.
Not much of an outside threat, only 1 out of 18 on three-point attempts so far in this season, halfway mark. Well, you can see that pressure defense of SFA. They're up there challenging every pass, one away.
From the corner, good.
Well, Burmeister continuing his outstanding play here. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Jordan Kite, my fault. Had that quick release like Burmeister.
One of the two Kite brothers on this team. He's the younger, the redshirt freshman. And they got Holyfield with the travel.
Now you can see the shuffle of the feet right here. There you go.
He needs to stop watching that basketball at the next level.
Yep, you are right on target, partner.
Johnson guarded by Kinnett. And that is now 9 team fouls on SFA.
Well, this is what got SFA in trouble out in Abilene when they lost a couple of weeks ago to Abilene Christian. They got a lot of fouls and put them in the bonus situation, 2 shots automatically early in the game.
to take a lead. They'll have to be content right now with a 13-7 run to tie this ball game at a baker's dozen. Oh, crisp pass. He finds his way back to Holyfield, has time to collect his thoughts. And that ball wants nothing to do with the Cardinal.
Well, great hustle by SFA. You get that many offensive rebounds, good things are going to happen. And that time, Isaiah Traylor knocked it down.
Out of Tupelo, Mississippi, the junior. 19th game off the bench this year.
Boy, a lot of quickness out there. Simi Sox getting it there at the high post and reading the defense, taking it on the drive to the rack.
That's the second first half personal foul called on Holyfield. Sox, meanwhile, former Coppell High School Cowboy out of the Dallas area. Misses on the front end. Otherwise, he's an 85% free throw shooter coming into tonight.
Just a sophomore. He's got a bright future in the Southland.
See the impressive numbers, 15 a game. One of 4 Cardinals averaging double-figure scoring this year. Driving in, closer look, and the footer goes for Traylor.
Well, that's the second basket in a row by Traylor. Terrific explosive move to the hoop.
Last 5 points belong to the men in purple. And Singleton able to draw the defensive foul call against SFA. 10th team foul of the half, double bonus free throws coming up when we return to San Antonio, Texas.
Ten years of intensity. 10 years of dunks. 10 years of three-pointers. 10 years of drives. 10 years of teamwork. 10 years of leadership. 10 years of hustle. 10 years of champions. A decade in Katy. The 2017 Southland Basketball Tournament, March 8th through the 12th at the Merrill Center. Go to Ticketmaster.com or Southland School Ticket Offices.
Have you been thinking about diversifying with gold but don't know how? Hi, I'm Mike Fulgens, president of Universal Coin and Bullion. As an award-winning nationwide dealer, we help clients get the answers they need to discover the beauty, security, and strength of gold in their portfolio.
Call us today at 866-UCB-GUIDE to receive our award-winning Gold Guide free. That's 866-822-4843.
Welcome to Mid-South Bank. Affordable, flexible, innovative. Whether you're just starting out or a business owner looking to boost your bottom line, our banking professionals are ready to find solutions to meet your specific needs. If you're ready to take your merchant services to the next level, better manage your cash flow, or become more efficient, we're ready to assist you. Mid-South Bank is your bank for business. Let's talk about how to boost your bottom line.
With a little under 8 minutes still to play in this opening half, reminder coming up at the Mid-South Bank halftime report. We'll take a look back at these same 2 schools meeting in women's action a little bit earlier today on this very floor. Also introduce you to a couple of standout student athletes for these men's teams, and also look at the highlights and stats from this opening half still underway. And all that and more coming up on the Mid-South Bank halftime report. Lincoln Rose, Jim Haller with you on the campus of UIW. And it is a growing campus. We had a chance to check in with Director of Athletics Mark Papich during the women's contest. Not only a campus that's growing upwards, but also growing outwards. They are in a very densely populated area, a great area of town, but it also means you don't have much room to grow the existing campus, but some medical facilities being built several minutes from here. The second free throw won't go. Rebound to Traylor.
Well, points like that you've got to make if you want to get a big conference win. UW is looking for their third consecutive home court win in conference play. Got to knock down free throws to do it against a tough team like SFA.
No points yet for Incarnate until now.
Right there, what a move that was. Shielded the defense with the right side of his body and used that left hand, showing his versatility.
He becomes the 7th Lumberjack to score. From the corner, Kite has his second triple here at home.
I think he likes that left-hand corner, and his teammates know to look for him there.
And he has a brother who's a senior on this squad. His brother Jared, a 6'11" forward. Incarnate, a slow start offensively, able to get on board.
I just love it when a player does that fundamental move, makes it hard to the bucket with the left hand, shields the defense with the right side of his body, just as you're taught.
Foul before the shot.
Now we just saw Incarnate make that great play there and drive to the basket. He was certainly the hero. I think you mentioned it earlier in the win over A&M Corpus Christi, when he scored 2 buckets in the last 20 seconds.
The Islanders had grabbed a lead with a big 3, and SFA came right back with a 3 of their own.
And then Incarnate made the steal, got the layup, and 2 free throws at the end.
Insurance late. Now the Islanders were without Rashawn Thomas that night, but SFA will happily take a regular season sweep.
They're calling a technical foul, I believe, right now. Yeah, that's uncalled for. Miles Banks, the transfer from Kilgore Junior College, just got teed up for mouthing back at one of the Lumberjack players.
Banks had been hurt much of this season. It's just his 9th game this year.
We're going to see it now. Take a look right here. You're going to see number 12. Watch right here. They get a little aggressive, and you'll see he's going to turn and say something.
Yeah, it wasn't for anything physical, but whatever he had to say there.
Incarnate, as expected, at the free throw line for SFA. Phenomenal 86% free throw shooter. This SFA team's one of the best in the nation at free throw accuracy, hitting right at 74% for the year.
So Incarnate's teammates talking with their head coach.
They're coming into tonight's game. Ivan Incarnate made 43 out of 50.
And the Floridian,
I know how to jinx them, don't I, partner?
The Floridian will not be able to make either one.
Boy, those are crucial in games like this on the road. SFA got their first road win of the year at Corpus Christi, looking for number 2 here tonight.
And again, because we're in the bonus, there's a loose ball foul prior to that technical, so now the free throw.
Josh Huntley now getting the opportunity to transfer out of San Jacinto College. On that attempt for the junior, 6'7", 220 pounds.
SFA was not enjoying the double bonus for these free throws, but able to make the front end. They go 1 for 4 from the line in that stretch. They lead by 5. With a double dribble.
That's turnover number 6 now for UIW in tonight's ball game. It's what you call an uncontested error right there.
Loses the handle.
Well, that was good on-ball defense by UIW. They just could not get the loose ball.
I don't think they'll give him an assist along the way. And SFA with a chance for a three-point play, capping it there.
Boy, the aggressiveness on the part of SFA, very impressive here tonight. Great finish on that basket by Josh Huntley.
Huntley 5 of 8 from the free throw line with limited opportunities this year. Just like that, he's a 66% free throw shooter.
Well, and just seconds ago, it was a 2-point ball game. Now an 8-point advantage for the Lumberjacks.
Well, it was tied at 13. Both teams have had their struggles at time offensively, but once the fouls had accumulated, both teams have had their opportunities from the free throw line. And at the moment, SFA enjoying an 8-point advantage. UIW looking for its first ever victory over Stephen F. Austin. All 5 of their meetings have come from the past few years. And, well, for the past few years, we've seen the same team emerge victorious over there in Katy, Texas, capping off Merrill Madness each March. Set your calendar again. The men and women will collide at March 8th through 12th over at the Merrill Center for a 10th consecutive year. Our great hosts for the men's and women's basketball championships. Tickets are already available on Ticketmaster.com and on campuses. And third three-pointer already this opening half from Kite.
Well, and give his teammates credit. They know he's hot, and they know where to find him. He loves that left side of the floor facing the rack.
Kite's now close to a 40% shooter from beyond the arc. And that percentage will continue to improve. Number 4 for number 23.
Well, UIW is second in the Southland Conference in three-point accuracy. They may be number 1 after tonight if they keep getting the ball to Kite.
That's how you trim an 8-point lead on 2 possessions down to just a pair.
Well, and SFA knows he's hot. They've got to get out on him. Give Kite's teammates a lot of credit for keeping on getting the ball to the man with the hot hand.
This is one of Burmeister's homegrown talents from right here in San Antonio, out of Clark High School.
You know, it's not a hard guess on where to find him. It's always over there on the left side of the floor. There's another one. We're probably going to see one more. He's got 4 of them tonight.
If you can figure out how much a stamp costs these days, you know where to send that envelope.
Nice smile. You know, he's got to be happy. That's 4 in a row. Leading scorer in the ball game with 12 here so far. Jordan Kite.
And travel is called. Going to the hole, Ty Charles. Charles, another one of those heroes against the Islanders, a late three-pointer moments after the Islanders had gained that advantage. He's bouncing back from a broken hand against Kentucky in the season opener.
Yeah, that's a young man that started as a freshman.
Well, Kyle Keller's convinced he has inherited, although very few players, the best player in the league in Charles, although he knows the stats in the box score probably are not going to earn him that honor at the end of the year.
Boy, Jalen Hart just tied this ball game up with a great drive to the basket.
Cardinals pulling this one even, 24 apiece in the Alamo City. Welcome back. SFA a moment ago hit a couple of free throws during the break. Take a 26-24 lead, and now Livingston on the other end for UIW trying to pull those points back. Misses on the front end.
Well, it's 3 consecutive misses by Ivan Singleton. That's 4 misses in a row by Tyler Singleton. But how about the effort on the putback? Devin Wyatt continuing his active play here. Game all even with 4:15 to go in the first half.
Wyatt's one of the young men who have been in and out of the starting lineup, starting a little over half the contest now for Coach Kent Burmeister.
A great drive that time by Singleton, all made possible by Ty Charles popping out and the defense going with him, leaving the driving lane open.
Isaiah Traylor able to finish it. Here's Kite. That's number 5 here in the first half. Multiples of 3.
Lincoln, I don't believe I've ever seen a hotter player than Kite is right here. 5 in a row, all from basically within 5 feet of each other.
UIW with a stop on the other end. Guess where Kite is? Oh, a heat check from the NCAA logo.
Yep, that's a good description because he was a good 6 feet outside the three-point line. UIW was 8 down 2 minutes ago. Now they're 1 up. All thanks to Mr. Kite and his great three-point efforts. What a great defense by Burmeister, cutting off the baseline that time. That's impressive.
Inside of 3 minutes to go in the opening half, we have got a ball game here in the Southland Conference. UIW up 29-28 in front of their home crowd, and 15 points alone from Jordan Kite, more of half of his team's tally. Well, always a busy slate this time of year in the Southland Conference in terms of on ESPN3 and our coverage. Men's basketball action continues at the end of this month. Abilene Christian heads down to South Texas, down by the beach, take on the Islanders. These Lumberjacks will head over to their sister city over in Louisiana, over to Natchitoches, to take on the Demons, who, again, another heartbreaking injury for yet another year for Coach Mike McConaughey and company. And then how about February 11th? I don't think when this date was put on the schedule at the start of the year between New Orleans and Southeastern, people knew what they were going to be in for.
Well, those neighboring schools right there should draw a terrific crowd for a very important Southland Conference matchup. February the 11th. I'll be watching that one closely.
So the Cardinals with a 1-point lead with a little under 3 minutes to go. And the story as of late has been Jordan Kite made 5 straight three-pointers from the left wing before finally missing one a few moments ago. Kite missed most of last year, hurt. Mentioned he followed his brother Jared's footsteps over here to UIW. His brother Jared actually started at A&M Corpus Christi before transferring and now wrapping up his career as a senior. But Kite has not stopped smiling since about that third three-pointer.
Well, very understandable. I wouldn't stop smiling either. I'd keep thanking my teammates for getting the ball to me.
I regret not seeing how many Twitter followers he had before the game compared to afterwards. Perhaps Snapchat.
Well, Tyler Singleton on that missed shot had a lot of opportunities here early. Free throw line has really hurt UIW. If they had been hitting free throws, Lincoln, they could be way ahead in this ball game. Only 2 of 11 from the charity line for UIW as compared to 8 of 11 for SFA. the other hand, UIW has 5 threes to only 2 for SFA.
Well, it's been a slow start here for this young man, Ivan Kinnett. 4 to shoot. Baseline jumper good for Ty Charles.
Well, that's vintage Ty Charles right there. Has that terrific vertical jump just up and over the defender of UIW.
This is 9th ball game of the year. Mentioned recovered from that broken hand in the opener against Kentucky. It's a blocked shot from Huntley. SFA going the other way with numbers. One of the easier steals of Simi Sox's career.
Bad communication there between Isaiah Taylor and Ty Charles.
Lumberjacks was scoring from 9 different players this evening with a 1-point advantage at the moment. Play in the opening half, and a reach in.
Palmed the basketball. Now Kinnett palmed that ball. Good call by the striped shirts. That's turnover number 9 now on Stephen F. Austin. 12 team fouls and 9 turnovers. It's a bad combination on the road, but with SFA's dominance on the boards, they're hanging in.
Remember, SFA did not have a road win until Thursday night in Corpus Christi, and there's Kinnett's second field goal.
Yeah, great job anticipating that pass that time. Kinnett, as he did down at A&M Corpus Christi Thursday night, got a crucial steal.
Foul at midcourt called on Dallas Cameron.
Well, see, that wasn't a smart foul. You got 37 seconds to go in the first half. Now they've got 2 free throws coming.
A double bonus for both teams rest of the way.
Singleton is 0 for 4, 0 for 5 now. UIW.
The jinx doesn't work that way.
He's a 60% free throw shooter coming into tonight's game, but now he's 0 for 6. Always have great empathy for a player that's going through that kind of misery.
Six seconds separate the 2 clocks. UIW could potentially go in the locker room tied on a 3. Sox in for a closer look, draws contact, will shoot a pair.
Well, both these teams do such a nice job of taking the ball aggressively to the rack. See a little crack in the defense and take it hard to the bucket.
Again, Sox is one of the better ones, an 85% free throw shooter coming into tonight.
And he's 0 for 2.
Some consistency you can live without.
Interesting timeout here with 8 seconds to go. Shows you the value that the coaches are putting on every possession in this game.
Both coaches will go into the second half with 3 timeouts.
I think this ball game's big psychologically for both teams. UIW undefeated at home in conference. SFA coming off of their first road win of the year at A&M Corpus Christi, trying to get 2 in a row here tonight.
And I think there's an issue on the court right now. They're going to bring in a spray bottle and try to address in the post area. 8 seconds remaining here in the opening half.
There's got to be
this was
blood.
stoppage for blood.
Yeah, that's by rule. They have got to do that.
Again, we saw Dallas Cameron busted open above the eye in a physical game against the Islanders a couple nights back. UIW hasn't played since last weekend. Still 2 free throws waiting here from Simi Sox.
He came into tonight's ball game having made 63 out of 74, 85% for the year.
Josh Huntley appears to be the cut player. Back within 1. SFA can hold the ball for the final 8 seconds and try to take the final shot. In the books, and we have a good one in the Alamo City tonight with a Southland Conference victory on the line. Kyle Keller's first trip to San Antonio as head coach of the Lumberjacks, hanging on to a 1-point advantage here on the road. When we come back, Mid-South Bank halftime report. 32-31. Jacks up after 1 half of play. UIW briefly held a 1-point advantage. I lead for about 90 seconds. And a chance to recapture the advantage here. The foul before the shot from Johnson.
Now, I think they called a traveling on that.
You're right.
Yeah, called a traveling on that. That would be the 8th turnover of the game for UIW. Only one player, both teams played the full 20 minutes the first half. That was Simi Sox for the Cardinals.
Both teams' leading scorer has come off the bench tonight. And no bunny for Holyfield.
Well, anytime Holyfield misses an easy shot, it's a shocker because he's a good finisher. SFA coming back out in that half-court pressure defense. They'll take chances, but they feel like they can disrupt the tempo of all opponents. There's Simi Sox that we're talking about right there. He has not come out of this ball game, but he puts the Cardinals up.
That's the first made field goal for Simi Sox in this contest. He has 5 points. Singleton.
A great job of running the floor by Singleton. Not a good start for the Lumberjacks. Looks like the Cardinals have come out with more energy.
Well, it's the largest lead of the ball game for the home squad. 5 unanswered to start the second half. It's 36-32, the advantage Singleton with the most recent pair. Quick timeout for Stephen F. Boston. Burmeister's Cardinals shooting 56% here in this ball game. Most importantly, their last 2, they've made both of their shots here to start the second half to establish a 4-point lead for the first time in this ball game. Looking for another stop here.
UIW has played man-to-man this entire game. Usually they've played zone, but being very aggressive here tonight. Both ball clubs, man-to-man all the way.
Net trying to create an opening with 5 to shoot, able to drain it.
Boy, and Singleton had him covered. He just jumped up and over. A very good defensive play. Shows the athleticism of Knet.
6 points in a little over 18 minutes of play.
UIW felt like before the game, if they could withstand the tough pressure defense of SFA, they could win this game. So far, they've done a pretty good job just having 8 turnovers.
Both teams missing from close range, including the last trip down. UIW got some oohs and ahs in the crowd after Jalen Hart's crossover. Johnson's 3 off the side of the iron. And a collision along the baseline. SFA basketball.
Yeah, they're going to call it on Johnson, number 41 for UIW.
This is the crossover, just couldn't finish. It's Hart and the Cardinals back on the defensive end, hanging on to a 2-point lead.
Knet used his quickness once again, got that left foot by the defender and just kept on going down the baseline, drawing the foul. SFA was 8 out of 11 at the charity stripe in the first half. They're a 74% free throw shooting team for the year, which is outstanding. Most college teams will tell you if they hit 70%, that's good.
Banks will come out after the foul. Back on for Ken Burmeister is Devin Wyatt.
A nice touch. That now 4 quick points here in the first half. Ball game knotted up once again. Oh, look at that pressure by SFA, jumping up in the passing lane.
4-on-1 and then 1-on-none. Wheels up for Devin Wyatt.
Well, SFA made the nice play with their feet defensively, but their hands could not come up with the loose ball. UIW taking advantage.
To shoot. The hand in the face, it'll strike the iron. Offensive rebound. Fresh shot clock.
Well, that was a terrific offensive rebound by Leon Gilmore. He just went up and over the UIW blockout players on the rebound.
Cameron to Charles.
Boy, that is just determination right there. They out-hustled UIW on the glass that time, getting the reward, tying the game up once again.
That has to be one of the more difficult sequences for a coach to watch. You're on the Cardinals' end of things there.
Well, that was just great effort by the Lumberjacks on that offensive effort on the glass.
9 points for Huntley. SFA has reestablished that 1-point lead it held at halftime. Sophomore Singleton from 12.
Well, Tyler Singleton made a terrific one-on-one effort right there, but just could not get the finish.
Foul on Wyatt will be his third. As the Cardinals see a 4-point lead slip away here, right now trailing by 1 against the Lumberjacks. 39-38 our score, with still 15 and a half to play in the second half. Lumberjacks fans over the years have grown accustomed to making the road trips, and they have seen a lot of wins over the past decade. During that time under 3 different head coaches now. Right now, SFA back on top by 1. Both teams with 7 points here in the second half. It's coming out of the locker room. SFA shooting just 2 of 8. UIW 3 of 6 from the floor.
A big turnaround for SFA this half is they have 0 team fouls.
Compared to 4 for the Cardinals.
Well, a great cut to the basket by Gilmore. Nice
just like
work
that.
Coming out of that timeout.
7-point swing now. Bucket will count. Free throw to come.
Well, what a great move by Devin Wyatt that time. I thought he'd waited too long, but he used his quickness to just spin and make the quick move and the resulting basket on the baseline. Watch this right here. He's just going to spin back to his left. What a great effort. That was good defense also that time by SFA. Josh Huntley was right on him.
51% free throw shooter, and on a night where all of his teammates have struggled, he comes through.
Well, this is a fun game to watch. I tell you, the futures are bright for both teams. Only one senior on the floor tonight for each ball club. Only one senior has played for each team. Dallas Cameron a lot for SFA, and Philip Johnson less than a minute for UIW.
So a slightly less eventful recruiting period for that man that you just saw a moment ago. Kyle Keller, who inherited a lot of available scholarships coming into this year.
Well, that pressure defense got to UIW that time. That was the big point I made earlier, that the coaching staff said they've got to handle that. They cannot get rattled. SFA plays as hard a pressure defense as any team in the Southland Conference.
Try to bully his way in. No, sir. Wyatt with the rejection.
Well, that was good team defensive rotation by SFA to cause that turnover there on Sox as he went to the baseline.
It's going to be the 5th team foul as the whistle on Jalen Hart.
And watch Connett now try to take the ball up against this tough UIW interior D. got it swatted right out, but SFA forced the turnover on the other end. Tie ball game with 14 minutes to go, just the kind of contest we anticipated.
Knet will come out of the game. Isaiah Traylor is back in. We also see Sam Burmeister come back on for UIW.
Now Burmeister and Jordan Cox both on the floor for UIW now, both great perimeter shooters. Let's see if they go to them.
Holyfield got the defender off his feet. Gets his own rebound, the putback for TJ Holyfield.
Well, Wyatt went up for the block, and when he went for the block shot, Holyfield just went and got the offensive rebound.
He was playing a lot more along the perimeter last year. Was not drawing a lot of comparisons with his nearly 7-foot brother.
Let's take a look at what happens when you're the on-ball defender and you try to block a shot. Watch Wyatt try to block this shot by Holyfield. He jumps, leaves his feet. Holyfield goes right around him, gets the offensive rebound and the putback. Fundamentals pay off all the time. They did not block out.
Holyfield, like his brother, out of Albuquerque, but went to prep school in Florida. That's where Brad Underwood found him when he signed him.
Oh, good fake by Gilmore that time.
Virtually a new shot clock to work with here for SFA. Burmeister and able to find a favorable angle off the glass.
Oh, beautiful jump hook shot by Gilmore. I'm impressed with that. That was a terrific move. Burmeister was right on him, but Gilmore at 6'7" against the 6'4" Burmeister able to go up and over.
Wide open, Johnson good.
Well, he's the best free throw shooter on the UIW ball club, hitting 44% for the year.
Different Cardinal to hit from beyond the arc. Obviously, Jordan Kite leads the way with 5 3-pointers in that first half. And Holyfield with the baseline stroke.
Did a good job of facing up and reacting to what the defense gives him.
Singleton.
A good quick move by Singleton. He may have gotten away with a little walk that time, but nonetheless, good, quick, aggressive move. Boy, Kyle Keller down on his knees on the offside coaching box. Well, you can see coaches want it bad, players want it bad, the fans want it bad here tonight. A lot of intensity in the building.
We're back to a one-point ball game here in San Antonio with 11 and a half minutes remaining in regulation here on ESPN3. Take a look back at our Southland Conference Player of the Week presented by Universal Coin. As it was Colton Weinsbrod leading the Lamar Cardinals to a win in that battle of the Cards with a double-double of 26 and 13. And then against the Bearcats, another double-double of 21 and 10. Congratulations to Colton, our Southland Conference Player of the Week. Would a Cardinal of the San Antonio persuasion, or perhaps a Lumberjack, your Player of the Week?
Now, for the first time, we see UIW come out in a zone defense. Let's see how SFA reacts.
Trailer kicks it out to Cameron.
SFA has 9 offensive rebounds in the game. Let's see if they can go through this zone defense and get another one. They did right there. Ty Charles getting the offensive rebound the first time UIW goes to the zone. That's the weakness of it.
Well, SFA is only 2 of 13 from beyond the arc after that missed three-pointer, but a nice tap back by Ty Charles.
Well, SFA's got 10 offensive rebounds now in the game to only 2 for UIW. That's a big difference maker. That offsets the 7 threes by UIW compared to only 2 for SFA.
Yeah, the second chance points as a result of those offensive rebounds. 14-4 in favor of the men in purple tonight. Charles whistled for his second foul. Just the second team foul of the half for SFA, and we'll see if free throws become the deciding factor near the end of this ball game. 6 whistles already against UIW.
Good look at Kyle Keller there, the very successful longtime assistant at Oklahoma State and Texas A&M, and right here at UT San Antonio. Outstanding job as head coach at Tyler Junior College.
He's worked under some impressive head coaches. I asked him, what did you take from them heading into this? And he said, look, you can have good X's and O's, but it's all about having good relationships. You know, when you have struggles, these first couple of years with these players, he needs to get to know them and let them know that they can trust and invest right back into him.
UIW back man-to-man, but SFA Charles, 2 buckets in a row. He's got the ability to take this game over. As he gets more healthy and in better shape, he's going to do more big things for the Lumberjacks.
Johnson from the corner? No. Ty Charles, 4 of his last 6 points, 4 of his total 6 points, I should say, for the ball game coming.
Last 2 possessions.
And another touch foul.
Sean Johnson that time not moving his feet quick enough and got the bump. 2 years ago, they probably wouldn't have made that call, but that's a point of emphasis now for the striped shirts.
It kicks in the bonus now for the rest of the ball game.
Boy, what a change a half makes. SFA had all those fouls in the first half, put UIW in the double bonus early, and here this second half, UIW has 17 fouls, puts SFA at the free throw line, and SFA only has 2 team fouls.
Leon Gilmore, a 64% free throw shooter, makes the front end. That gives him 9. He could become the first Lumberjack in double figure scoring right here. Could be. SFA now 12 of 15 from the charity stripe tonight. Hart back in for Singleton.
Well, the most minutes played so far by a Lumberjack in tonight's game, Dallas Cameron, played 26 minutes. Otherwise, SFA's kept fresh faces on the floor most of the time, rotating a deep bench. Good job by SFA. They double teamed out of a zone look that time and forced a quick bad shot by UIW.
Travel call on Holyfield. Put the ball down too late. A 4-point lead right now for Kyle Keller's Lumberjacks.
Now he's wanting an explanation on that travel call right there.
of Austin. Last year went to the NCAA tournament for the 4th time in program history. 3 NIT tournaments on their resume as well as a program.
Ty Charles got in tight for the good shot, but not able to get the finish. Did a good job of fighting his way into the paint.
Straight away from one of the newest Lumberjacks. It's off the mark from Canet. Otherwise, he's a 45% three-point shooter this year. And a foul on the other one.
Boy, a nice aggressive effort by Jalen Hart, taking it all the way to the bucket. He likes that crossover move. You're going to take a look right here. He goes right there hard and keeps coming, even though there's 3 purple shirts there waiting for him. But he found a way between them.
Points now for Jalen Hart, 3rd leading scorer, behind a couple of teammates in double figures in Jordan Kite and Devin Wyatt, both of whom have come off the bench tonight. As we see starter Leon Gilmore get a seat.
UIW are doing a much better job at the free throw line. In fact, they've made them all so far here in the second half.
Simi Sox at about half of his season average of 15 points.
Well, this ball game was 32-31 at the half, so just about on the same trend point-wise here in the second half.
We saw the Stephen F. Austin women earlier today on this floor surpass 90 points. Plenty of fireworks in that contest. No serve for a 3rd time.
Boy, some athleticism there by Wyatt, getting the block after 2 putback attempts for SFA.
Well, he got the defensive stop, wanted the score on the other end. He'll have to be patient.
Look at this block right here. Watch Wyatt go up. Just great timing and great athleticism and a terrific vertical jump makes that possible.
2nd block by Wyatt, 3rd for the team.
UIW's 3rd in the Southland Conference in block shots per game. There you go, Kite, his first shot of the second half, but goodness gracious, he shot it out of the wrong corner.
Yeah.
That was the right corner.
They'll still give him 3.
What an exhibition for that young man.
It gives the Cardinals their 2nd lead of the half.
A great cut by Canet that time. What a quick break to the bucket.
Guess who wants it? Burmeister will finish at the rim.
I see they're playing him as a perimeter shooter, and he just drove right by him, got too tight.
That's a great sign for Sam Burmeister, who's been playing on some bad knees the past couple of years, still healing. But plenty of explosiveness there. So after a 3 on the previous possession, Sam Burmeister takes it to the rim. And UIW reestablishes a 1-point advantage with 7 minutes to go on their home court tonight. Well, the team's leading shot blocker, Devin Wyatt, with 2 of his 42 rejections on the year coming tonight, is going to be on the bench for a significant portion here down the stretch, picking up his 4th personal foul. Again, at the college level, you get 5 before your night is officially done. 7:07 on the clock. His Cardinals with a 1-point lead.
Well, that certainly hurts UIW defensively. He's got 2 of their 3 blocks in the ball game. He has 12 very, very big points on 4 out of 4 field goal attempts and 4 out of 5 free throws.
And he's their second leading scorer with 12, behind Jordan Kite's 18.
Now you mentioned Jordan Kite. He's got 18 points on 6 threes. He averages 7 points per game on the year.
That free throw, Knet has 11 and making a dozen now. For Ivan Knet, quietly in double figures.
Interesting, SFA extending their defense here now into a 1-2-2, 3-quarter court trapping defense. We'll see what they do in the half court. If they go back man-to-man, they do.
Burmeister will go to the free throw line.
Oh, a nice drive by Burmeister. As I said before, they have to play him as a good outside shooter, and when they do, and they come up that tight, he gets that quick first step by him. He just keeps going.
And Sam Burmeister, of course, with his dad having the head coaching job as long as he had, is a San Antonio native. Went to Churchill High School here in San Antonio. He's putting in about 26 minutes per contest. He's one of the leaders for this team.
He has 6 points, 3 out of 4 field goals, his first free throw attempt of the evening.
We're tied at 56.
He's just a 63% free throw shooter for the year. Let's see if he can do it in clutch time. He does.
Puts the Cardinals up, and he's a couple points better now than his season average with 8 here tonight.
Stephen F. Austin just 1 game behind second place Sam Houston State, so this ball game very important in their efforts to stay in conference contention. Great job by Gilmore shaping up, and a terrific lob pass to him. Well, that was good execution, both parts of that.
Well, Knapp went out for the stop. Instead, Ivan will be whistled for his 3rd foul.
Well, Hart was coming down the court 90 miles an hour. I'm surprised he didn't get out of control there, but he made the nice drop-off pass to Sox.
So we're back to Sox, the 85% free throw shooter coming into tonight. 2 for 4 from the line. Now 3 of 5. So we'll get another look here at a moment ago. Ivan Knet picking up his 3rd foul.
Watch how quick Hart comes in there, but how about the beautiful bounce pass? And that's a hard pass to handle for a post player in traffic. That bounce pass right under the bucket, but Sox handled it very, very well. Very clean.
Back up by 1, the home team.
Good movement by SFA. Good screen away from the ball by Holyfield.
Quick touch pass, but a turnover.
Oh, that was great defense that time. Perfect job jumping in that passing lane by Sox.
Well, when he's been within about 100 feet, he's been perfect tonight. But Kite has had a couple of shots that perhaps not confidence a little too high.
Yeah.
With that said, he is 6 of 8 from beyond the arc.
Well, Sox is doing a great job inside fronting Holyfield. Just watch him in there.
Charles off the mark, gets his own shot.
Kite didn't block out on the long rebound. Good effort by Charles. That's a tough assignment for Kite against the very athletic Charles.
Minutes to go here in San Antonio. Holyfield has 2 bites at the apple. No points to show for it.
Boy, Sean Johnson went up and got a tough rebound right there at 6'5".
finish outside the arc.
Yeah, Simi Sox did a nice job, not only with the drive, but avoiding the charge. He managed to maneuver his body to the right and avoided the charge. Well, both these teams, all game long, very aggressive, taking it on the drive to the bucket.
Sox with 7 points. That was the 7th whistle on SFA. UIW's been whistled 8 times here in the second half. Again, a year ago, Thomas Walkup had that triple-double with still 9 minutes to play. Right Underwood's pulling all of his starters, and ball game's over. These are two completely different looking teams.
Smart putting the ball in the hands of Ivan Canet.
Different looking, but both with a lot of optimism this year. Canet.
How about that kiss off the glass? Great body control by Canet, reading the defense perfectly.
12 points for the leading Lumberjack scorer tonight. Johnson with the second chance opportunity. No.
Great effort continuing on the glass right there on the part of both teams. Well, a nice floater in the lane that time by Tyler Singleton. Did not.
Trying to thread the needle, couldn't get the pass through, but they'll call it a kicked ball. It'll stay on this end with the Cardinals when we return to San Antonio. UIW leads by 1 with 3.5 minutes to go here on ESPN 3. Well, the Cardinals are still shooting a better clip than the visiting Lumberjacks tonight. They shot 52% in the first half so far, 8 of 16 here in the second half. But SFA is getting more shots off. Offensive rebounds have helped them stay in this ball game right now, trailing by 1.
This is unbelievable, Lincoln. First half, remember we talked about UIW missing so many free throws. 4 out of 15 at the half. Here in the second 20 minutes of action, they're 11 out of 11 at the free throw strike. Clutch free throw shooting. Good job by SFA there pressuring the throw in. Coach Burmeister upset, as he should be, with that effort.
Both teams with two timeouts remaining here in the final 3.5 to play.
Both teams in the 1-and-1 bonus situation. 18 fouls on UIW, 7 on SFA.
Every win so valuable in the Southland Conference, especially this year. For those of you who took a look at the standings a couple of weeks into conference play earlier this month, the standings almost looked like they were upside down. If you were to look at the preseason poll and expectations, teams like New Orleans and Southeastern Louisiana off to great starts, and they have continued those successful performances and followed them up with more victories. So there are going to be some new contenders to keep up with the regulars from Texas out of Nacogdoches and Huntsville.
Well, UIW spread the floor with all 5 players out on the perimeter that time and decided once again to take it hard on the drive to the basket. Now Hart will go to the free throw line. Nobody there to help when he got a step on his defender. A lot of strategy going on here between the two coaching staffs for each school. We always talk about the head coaches. Ken Burmeister, of course, for UIW, assisted by Johnny Brown, Brian Curtis, and John Smith, and Kyle Keller, assisted by Jeremy Cox, Derek Jones, and Wade Mason.
So you're telling me UIW is 11 for 11 from the free throw line this half?
Free throw line this half. 12 for 12 now, dozen for a dozen. That's just crazy how that can happen. How can you make 4 out of 15 and then come back and make 12 out of 12?
Free throws are contagious. 12 of 13.
Well, 12 of 13 is still good.
You were the one talking about specifically at halftime when we looked at the stats. UIW should feel great that despite those free throw woes, they were in a 1-point ball game.
As aggressively as SFA plays on the defensive end, you know you're going to go to the free throw line a lot.
As they try to feed Gilmore this most recent opportunity.
Very nice job of posting him up.
And that is the 5th and final foul, I believe.
No, that's crucial because Wyatt's a terrific defender inside. He's played a very nice ball game. Assistant coach Johnny Brown there. Time to give Wyatt a little mentoring.
So Wyatt done for the night with 3:06 to play.
He ended up with 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal, plus an outstanding defensive job.
Well, he was 4 for 4 from the floor. 4 of his 5 free throws.
Well, Gilmore now with 13 points in the ball game to go with 8 rebounds. He's had a terrific night.
3 minutes to sort this one out.
Well, a nice double team by SFA that time. But that was just a smart move. Stepping through that double team, Simi Sox, who's had a terrific game here for UIW.
3rd foul called against TJ Holyfield, who's a part of that double team. And we're back to free throws for the Cardinals.
Sox has 9 points in the game. 6 out of 8 at the free throw line. About 85% for the season is showing now at clutch time. 7 out of 9. Every little possession, every little free throw. So important with 2:48 to go.
Well, Cardinals have already surpassed their 31 first half points with 33 here.
UIW went to a zone one time, but they got out of it when SFA got the offensive putback off the miss.
Gilmore trying to get the defender off his feet and cannot get the reverse to go, but will be rewarded for his effort with a couple of free throws here in a moment.
Boy, what a quick move by Gilmore.
Sox the guilty party according to the officials.
Watch Gilmore here use his quickness. Good ball fake, good head fake. Oh, that's a terrific move.
$14 points now for Gilmore. They'll replace some post play with some offense as Kite comes back in off the bench.
Youngster at the line averages 9.5 points per game and about 6 rebounds per outing. Much better than that tonight.
will prove to be the hero in this one.
Boy, that's dangerous when you pick the ball up that far away from the bucket against this pressure defense of SFA. Got to meet every pass.
An offensive foul. As a little too late to kick the ball out was Hart. The defender was already there.
Yeah, possession before last, I said Hart was coming too fast down that paint. I was surprised he didn't get a charge. Here, SFA gets the defense moving over just in time. Good team defensive rotation for the Lumberjacks as Gilmore comes over.
Got to go a little slower than cruising on campus.
Well, if Hart had not left his feet, he probably would not have been called for that charge.
The Nets had a much better second half here in San Antonio.
They have Hart's holding out on the perimeter, holding Knapp, trying to keep him from coming to the head of the circle. Crucial foul right there.
Yeah, both teams shooting 2 free throws the rest of the way. And the double bonus. And Jalen Hart has just fouled out.
Well, that's crucial when you have Hart and Wyatt both fouling out of the game. Net with 14 points to lead the Lumberjacks in scoring. He's an 86% free throw shooter, one of the tops in the Southland Conference.
Remember, Ivan Knapp just had 4 points in the first half.
Youngster transferred into the SFA program from Palm Beach State Junior College down in Florida, putting the Lumberjacks up by 2, just as he did at Corpus Christi Thursday night.
It has been a back and forth ball game here at the McDermott Center in the second half. Right now, Kyle Keller's Lumberjacks with a 2-point advantage.
Just the kind of ball game we expected, right down to the wire. Both ball clubs making key buckets and key defensive moves throughout the contest.
He only had 5 returning players, just 2 starters on last year's squad that made it to the second round. The NCAA tournament, you lose 8 players. You bring in 8 newcomers, 4 freshmen, 4 juniors. Ken Burmeister, on the other hand, right now, trying to get through this 4th year of the transition in Division I, but is already noticing a change in the recruiting of options that have become available to you once you're able to start talking about postseason play next year.
Yeah, he was already excited talking about a 6'11" youngster he signed in the early period this fall.
Singleton has it stripped away. Charles will scoop it up.
Well, that's 2 turnovers in a row for UIW. One with the charge, one on the turnover with the wild dribble. Smart decision by Gilmore not to shoot the ball, working for a foul. Well, that was funny that time. SFA did not drive it to the basket trying to pick up a foul. Burmeister now for UIW will call the timeout. 1 minute to go. Lots of strategy to be had.
Second to last timeout for Ken Burmeister. Down by 2 with 1 minute to play. Talking to him about the league, he says, look, the good teams are winning their home games, but are even struggling on the road this year.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of parity in the Southland Conference this year, but New Orleans and Sam Houston State at the top of the league right now. Sam Houston State lost 2 of their first 3 games, but now they've come back to win 5 in a row in conference play.
But, you know, we constantly hear coaches telling us how the Southland Conference continues to find ways to be even better from one year to the next. And Ken Burmeister says, you can look at the guys across the way, Stephen F. Austin, and that's the reason why. The success they've had has forced even the teams that were already great to find ways to get even better.
No doubt about that. Let's see what the strategy is going to be for UIW. Are they going to penetrate it, kick it out to Burmeister or Kite?
Sucking the defender. Johnson is open in the corner.
Beautiful.
UIW takes the lead.
Well, beautiful execution. I said Burmeister or Kite, but it's Sean Johnson, the 44% three-point shooter for UIW, making the crucial bucket with 35 seconds to go in the game.
Final timeout called by Stephen F. Austin.
Oh, what great execution that time on the penetration for UIW, taking it right down into the paint. Perfect job by, that was Tyler Singleton on the penetration, kicking it out to the wide open Sean Johnson.
Sean Johnson, his 46th three-pointer on the year. He's been fantastic from beyond the arc. 2 for 5 here tonight from downtown. As those Cardinals right now less than 35 seconds away from their first win over Stephen F. Austin.
Well, that's their 9th three-point make of the ball game. Stephen F. Austin still with only 2. SFA 2 out of 15 at the three-point line. UIW 9 of 17.
By the way, that doubled this scoring total on the night for Johnson. His only 2 buckets.
Both threes. And Johnson, for the years, the leading scorer for the Cardinals, averaging 15.5 points per outing. Simi Sox averages 15 per game. And Jalen Hart, who's fouled out, averages 14.8 per contest. So Sean Johnson way below his season average. Give SFA credit for a good defensive job on him, not giving him more looks.
I asked Ken Burmeister where's the room for improvement, and he said defense. They could use a stop, obviously, right here. And Burmeister, Sam Burmeister, will be called for a foul on that block.
Well, we may have a chance to see a replay on that. Burmeister, I know, had his hand on the ball, but let's see if he got him down below. Well, it's tough to see from that angle, but boy, it looked like he had all leather.
Yeah, there's no body.
Must have caught him with the wrist as Dallas Cameron, the only senior on the SFA team, at the charity stripe for the Lumberjacks.
67-67.
Well, who would you rather have at the line than a guy with all the experience that Dallas Cameron has? He's a 73% free throw shooter. Only senior on the team.
He doesn't know anything other than finishing your year in the NCAA
he
tournament.
thinks it's just automatic to win conference championships all 3 years.
And it's SFA with the 1-point lead.
16 for 20 now in the free throws for the night for SFA.
They can hold for the final shot and potentially for the win. Any foul from Stephen F. Austin would lead to free throws.
Well, they've got Kite, Burmeister, and Johnson.
Johnson. Deja vu.
Perfect execution.
SFA with no timeouts the other way won't go. Cardinals win.